Sometimes behind the curtain of time, some nations become hidden, their stories left only in books. But there are some nations whose culture, language, clothing and traditions do not just survive. They are embraced and passed down from chest to chest, generation after generation. Today we speak of one such great nation, the Malay nation. This is the nation that, amidst the jungles, rivers, seas and mountains of Southeast Asia, built a civilization, a nation that not only preserved its identity, but, by joining with the light of Islam, created a culture filled with love, dignity and simplicity, whose fragrance can still be felt today. But the question is, where did the Malay nation begin? Did they come from the direction of China? Or are their roots connected to the ancient forests of Indonesia and Sumatra? What language did they speak? Was their religion Islam from the start? And their customs, were they like ours? Their food, their homes, their weddings, their mothers, their children, what was their life like? If you too want the answers to these questions, then this complete journey is for you. Today we will travel on the waves of time. We will go back to those centuries when sailboats ruled the oceans, when rainwater was as precious as gold, and when a family lived under one roof with many generations. We will learn that the Malay people are not just a race, they are a feeling. Their festivals carry color, their clothes carry dignity, and their language carries sweetness. Malay is not just a name, it is a civilization. This civilization spread through the jungles of Malaysia, across the thousands of islands of Indonesia, to the peaceful shores of Brunei, into the streets of Singapore, and even into Thailand, Cambodia, the Philippines and southern China. These are the people who saw trade as worship, hospitality as a duty, and faith is the center of life. Islam did not just give the Malay people a religion, it gave them a system of life that completed their culture. When saints like Wali Songo arrived in their lands, hearts began to change. The bells of temples began to quiet, and the echoes of the call to prayer began to rise. This was not just a religious shift, it was a civilizational revolution. Even today, when a Malay youth wears baju Melayu for Eid prayer, or when a bride's hands are decorated with henna, or when elders tell traditional tales, these are not just acts, they are memories of a glorious past. And that past still calls to us, saying, "Come, let us revive it. Let us not see it as just history, but as a lantern that shows us light in darkness." In this complete documentary, we will explore the Malay people's journey from beginning to present, their language and literature, religion and spirituality, food, clothing, homes, relationships, and every aspect of daily life, all told in an emotional, intellectual, and civilizational way. This is not just an informative video, it is a journey, from heart to heart. Get ready for a journey in which you will not only discover the Malay people, but perhaps also yourself. Because in every civilization, humans are the same, made of feelings. This is the complete story of the Malay nation, a story that has been told for centuries, but today we will tell it in our way. Time is like a river. It carries everything away with it, kings, empires, and civilizations too. But there are some nations whose footprints remain buried deep in the riverbed, and their identity remains alive even centuries later. One such nation is the Malays. Have the Malays always lived in Malaysia? Did they descend from ancient Chinese civilization? Were they connected to some paradise across the seas? Or are these all just theories? Let's look through the windows of history, where the roots of the Malay identity began. Austronesian ancestry, the earliest trace of the Malay people. The strongest theoretical foundation of the Malay people is their Austronesian ancestry. Austronesians were a vast linguistic and ethnic group who, thousands of years ago, left their mark in southern China, Taiwan, the Philippines, Malaysia, Indonesia, and the islands of the Pacific Ocean. These people built large wooden ships, navigated using stars, and lived a life deeply connected to the land, water, and sky. The Malay people are the descendants of these Austronesian fishermen, farmers, and explorers, who split open the chest of the seas and built settlements on new lands. The Yunnan theory, a migration from the Chinese mountains. Some researchers claim that the Malay people originated from the ancient region of Yunnan, which is in the southern part of present-day China. Thousands of years ago, people from Yunnan migrated southwards, built settlements near rivers, coastal areas, and streams, and blended their language, culture, and beliefs with local communities. Gradually, their identity emerged under the name Malay. The Champa civilization, the early mirror of Malay identity. Champa was a great ancient kingdom, located in what is now part of Vietnam and Cambodia. These people followed Buddhism and Hinduism, were masters of maritime trade, and excelled in architecture, music, and warfare. Many historians say that the first urban and political form of the Malay people was seen in the Champa civilization. It was in this region that the Malay culture, language, and leadership were born. Maritime power. The second face of the Malay people, the Malays didn't only rule the land, they ruled the seas too. They had powerful ships like the Perahu, traded from Southeast Asia to Madagascar, and exchanged spices, cloth, bamboo, gold, and fish. These people were known as maritime people, who showed the world that culture could survive even on water. Cultural mixture. The evolution of a race. The Malay race was never pure. It is a blend of various civilizations. Indian influence through Hindu deities, dance, and attire. Chinese influence through language, arts, and rituals. Arab influence through Islam, trade, and language. European influence through Portuguese, Dutch, and British presence. The Malay civilization embraced every color, yet never forgot its roots. Oral heritage. Truths hidden in traditions. When written history is missing, nations hide their memories in stories. The Malay language, poetry, and tales all prove how deep and vibrant their past was. Hikayat Hang Tuah, Sejarah Melayu, poetic forms like pantun and syair. These declare that the Malays didn't just survive, they spoke, they sang, and they remembered. The Malacca Sultanate. The political rise of the Malay people. In the 15th century, the Malay people established a complete Islamic sultanate known as the Malacca Sultanate. This kingdom was a center of trade, operated on Islamic law, hosted Arab, Chinese, Indian, and European merchants, has Duliving Seproitidid, declared the Malay language as the official language, and made Islam the religion of the people. This was the era in which the Malays wove their identity into Islamic spirituality. The origin of the Malay people never stopped at one place. It is a journey that continues to this day. Each generation learned something new. Each era brought losses and gains. But the name Malay was never erased. That name is still worn with pride. The origin, language, and identity of the Malay people are not a single line. It is a vast web spread across time, water, land, and sky. This is one of the few civilizations in the world that kept itself alive through every age, with tradition, with faith, and with sacrifice. Where did the Malays settle? Which lands embraced them? And how did their settlements become centers of civilization? The Malays are known as a maritime people. Wherever there were waters, rivers, seas, or shores, you would find them there. They settled along coastlines and riverbanks, not in deserts, not in the mountains, but in places where water meant life. Their settlements were never random. They built near trade routes, fertile lands and river ports. Malaysia, Indonesia, Brunei, southern Thailand, the Philippines, even parts of Cambodia and Vietnam, these became the cradle of Malay civilization. Each region added its color to the Malay identity, but one thing always remained the same: their values, their unity, their culture. Their homes were built from wood and bamboo, raised on stilts to avoid floods and animals, surrounded by coconut trees and gardens. A Malay house was more than a shelter. It was a place of family, of storytelling, of respect and togetherness. They lived close to nature, listening to the wind, watching the clouds, trusting the rhythm of the rain. Their homes reflected simplicity and balance, with airflow for the hot weather, a welcoming space for guests, and a central area for prayers and family bonding. Inside there were woven mats on the floor, no sofas or chairs, because Malays sat on the ground, close to the earth, with humility. A typical village had a mosque, a small school, and homes surrounding a shared open space. Life was communal. They shared, they celebrated, they mourned together. Every village had an elder, wise and respected, who settled disputes, led prayers, and guided the younger generation. The Malays weren't just settlers, they were builders of society. Their villages weren't just physical spaces, they were living models of cooperation, order, and tradition. And from these very villages, a whole civilization began to grow. The soul of any culture lies in its language, and the Malays, they preserved their soul with pride. The Malay language, known as Bahasa Melayu, is not just a means of communication, it is a symbol of identity, dignity, and unity. In ancient times, it was written in Jawi, an Arabic-based script adapted for the Malay tongue. And even though modern influences came later, the Malay language remained soft, poetic, and powerful. It carries traces of Sanskrit, Arabic, Persian, and Tamil, not because it copied them, but because it welcomed every culture it met, without losing its soul. The Malays didn't just speak, nidaya. They sang, they expressed, they passed down knowledge in verses and stories, the lullabies of mothers, the stories told by grandfathers under moonlit nights, the poems recited during weddings, and the advice wrapped in metaphors. This is how their language lived. Pantun, the four-line Malay poem, was used to express love, wisdom, and even warnings. Short but deep, simple but striking. Then came Syair, long poetic narratives, telling stories of heroes, love, loyalty, and betrayal. This wasn't just literature. It was the heartbeat of a people. Every word carried feeling, every phrase held tradition, and every poem was a mirror of their world. Children were taught through stories, not just facts, but values. Words like terima kasih, thank you, and maaf, sorry, weren't just manners, they were emotions. The Malays believed that tone was just as important as truth. Speaking with humility meant living with grace. Their language wasn't loud, it was respectful, gentle, and full of emotion. Even greetings held meaning. A slight bow, a sincere smile, and soft words. The great texts of Malay heritage, like Hikayat Hang Tuah and Sejarah Melayu, were not just tales of the past. They were guides for life, telling the youth who they were and where they came from. Language, for the Malays, wasn't just sound, it was a memory. It was identity. It was culture itself. And even today, every Malay word spoken with love carries the echo of centuries. Religion is not just a belief for the Malays, it is the foundation of their lives. Before Islam, the Malays followed animism, Hinduism, and Buddhism. They worshipped nature, respected spirits, and built temples to honor their gods. But in the 12th and 13th centuries, the winds of change began to blow across the Malay world. Arab and Indian Muslim traders arrived, not with armies, but with faith, knowledge, and character. They brought not only goods, but the message of Islam. The Malays were drawn to the beauty of this new belief, a faith that taught unity, equality, and justice. The message of, "There is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is the messenger of Allah," touched their hearts. The arrival of Islam was not forced, it was embraced.
We come in peace, with stories of faith and brotherhood. Indeed, sharing tales of devotion and the beauty.
It came through trade, through friendship, through marriage. Leaders converted first, and when the rulers accepted Islam, their people followed. The mosques replaced temples, the call to prayer replaced temple bells, and the Quran became the guide for life. Islam changed not only their faith, it shaped their law, education, art, and governance. Sharia became the law of the land. Arabic words entered the Malay language. Islamic art replaced idols with calligraphy and floral patterns. Festivals like Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha became central to their yearly life. Fasting in Ramadan became a pillar of their discipline. The Malays found in Islam a way to combine their traditions with a divine order. Hospitality became a sunnah. Justice became an obligation. Helping the poor became a responsibility. And even today, whether in a village mosque or a city prayer hall, the echo of Islam remains the strongest sound in Malay life. Their identity, their culture, and their history can never be separated from the light of Islam. Food is the heart of Malay culture. It is not just about taste, it is about family, tradition, and identity. In the Malay world, cooking is an art passed down from mothers to daughters, from one generation to the next. The ingredients come from the land and the sea. Rice is the center of every meal, steamed, fried, or cooked in coconut milk. Fish and seafood come fresh from the coast. Chicken, beef, and goat are prepared with rich spices. Coconut milk adds creaminess. Chili brings heat. Lemongrass, galangal, turmeric, and ginger gives its unique fragrance. Dishes like Nasi Lemak, with its rice cooked in coconut milk, served with sambal, anchovies, boiled egg, and peanuts, are loved not just in Malaysia, but across Southeast Asia. Satay, skewered and grilled meat, served with peanut sauce. It is a favorite at festivals and night markets. Rendang, slow-cooked beef with coconut and spices. It is a dish of patience and celebration. Food is never eaten alone in Malay tradition. Meals are shared, often sitting together on the floor. Everyone is eating from the same dishes. It is a time for conversation, for laughter, for building bonds. Even the way food is served reflects respect. The elders are served first. Guests are given the best portions. No one leaves the table hungry. Festivals bring special dishes. During Ramadan, the fast is broken with dates and sweet drinks, followed by traditional snacks like kui. Weddings have grand feasts. Funerals have comforting dishes prepared for the family. Food is a celebration, but also a responsibility to honor the guests, to thank God for His blessings, and to keep the community together. For the Malays, food is not just to fill the stomach, it is to feed the soul. Malay houses are a reflection of their environment, their culture, and their way of life. Traditionally, Malay houses are built from wood, raised on stilts to protect from floods, wild animals, and to allow air to flow underneath. The roofs are steep and made from palm leaves or thatch, allowing rain to run off easily in the tropical climate. Walls are made of timber or woven bamboo, with windows that open wide to let in the breeze. Inside, the space is open and flexible. There are no fixed rooms like in modern houses. Instead, areas are divided with curtains or wooden partitions. The front area, called the serambi, it is for welcoming guests. It is the heart of social life in the house. The central area is for family gatherings, for storytelling, for teaching children. The back area is for cooking and storing food. The kitchen is often open, allowing the smoke from wood fires to escape. Decoration is simple but full of meaning. Wood carvings show patterns inspired by nature, flowers, leaves, and waves. Every carving has a story or a blessing hidden within it. The house is more than just a shelter. It is a place of values. It teaches respect for elders, closeness between family members, and hospitality for guests. Even today in modern cities, many Malay families still keep elements of the traditional house. They may use concrete and tiles now, but the open spaces, the raised floors, and the spirit of welcome remains the same. A Malay home is not just where you live, it is where the soul of the family grows. Food is the soul of Malay culture. It is not just about eating, it is about gathering, sharing, and celebrating. Malay cuisine is rich in flavor, influenced by nature, history, and trade. It carries the taste of the land and the sea, the forests and the rivers. Rice is the heart of every meal. Steamed white rice or fragrant coconut rice called Nasi Lemak. It is served with a variety of side dishes. Fish, chicken, and beef are often cooked in coconut milk, spices, and herbs. Dishes like Rendang, Satay, and Asam Pedas, they are not just food, they are symbols of tradition. Herbs like lemongrass, turmeric, ginger, and galangal give Malay food its unique aroma and taste. Chili adds heat, but never hides the true flavor. Food is often eaten with the hands, a practice that connects people to the meal and each other. Before eating, a prayer is said, thanking God for the blessing. Festivals bring special dishes. During Eid, families prepare ketupat and lemang, served with rich curries. During weddings, large feasts are held, with music, laughter, and endless trays of food. Street markets are alive with the smell of grilled meat, fresh fruit, and sweet desserts like kueh, colorful cakes made from rice flour, coconut, and palm sugar. In the Malay world, to cook for someone is to show love. To invite someone to eat is to open your heart to them. Food is memory, food is connection, and food is one of the strongest threads holding the Malay culture together. Malay homes are more than just shelters. They are a reflection of culture, climate, and community. Traditionally, Malay houses are built on stilts. This design protects them from floods, keeps the air cool, and provides space under the house for storage or animals. The walls are often made of wood or bamboo, and the roofs are steep, allowing rain to flow off easily. Windows are large, letting in sunlight and fresh air. The inside of a Malay home is open and airy. There are no tall walls separating family members. Life is shared. Conversations, meals, and prayers happen together. The front area, known as the serambi, this is where guests are welcomed. Hospitality is important, and every guest is treated with respect. The kitchen is the heart of the home. Here, mothers, daughters, and sometimes fathers prepare meals together, sharing stories and laughter.
Good. Nana, look.
Sleeping areas are simple, often with mats or low beds. Comfort is in simplicity. Decoration is subtle. Hand-woven mats, carved wooden panels, and colorful textiles add beauty without excess. In villages, houses are surrounded by coconut trees, banana plants, and small gardens. Fresh herbs and vegetables are grown close to the kitchen. Neighbors visit each other without formality. Doors are often left open, symbolizing trust and friendship. A Malay home is not measured by its size or wealth, but by the warmth and love inside it. The daily life of the Malay people is a blend of tradition, faith, and community.
Assalamualaikum. Selamat pagi.
The day often begins before sunrise. Men leave for the fields, the sea, or their shops, while women prepare breakfast and get children ready for school. Morning meals are simple but filling: steamed rice, fish, vegetables, and tea or coffee. In rural areas, farming is the main occupation. Paddy fields stretch far and wide, and the planting and harvesting seasons bring neighbors together. In coastal villages, fishing is the heartbeat of life. Markets are lively places. Here, people buy and sell fresh produce, spices, meat, and handmade goods. Bargaining is common, but always polite. Religion shapes the rhythm of the day. 5 times a day, the call to prayer echoes across the village or town. Families stop their work to pray, either at home or in the mosque. Meals are shared, often sitting on mats on the floor. Food is eaten with the right hand, and guests are always invited to join. Evenings are for rest and togetherness. Children play outside, while elders share stories of the past. Festivals are the highlights of the year. Hari Raya Fitri marks the end of Ramadan, a time of joy, forgiveness, and visiting relatives. Weddings are colorful with music, dance, and traditional dress. The Malay way of life values harmony, respect, and connection. Neighbors help each other, families stay close, and traditions are passed on to the next generation. For the Malay people, life is not about rushing. It is about living with purpose, faith, and gratitude.